Fallen Leaves, Chapter 4, My Life as a Teen Bride, written and narrated by Jean Starling. It's been weeks since I've written about my family and me. I've been busy, too busy to face this page. But tonight, sleep won't come and something calls to me. Each time I think I'm healed, that I've cried all the tears and felt all the pain, it erupts again like a volcano that simmers beneath the surface, then explodes with a sudden fury that cannot be contained. I hide it for a while, then it bursts out, this need to write, this pull back to a time and place that shaped me. My body demands I finish this story before it can be free. Writing wakes me up poem. The writing wakes me, calls my name, get up, get up. Memories swim through my head, my heart, my soul, flowing through my blood, refusing to let me be whole. My fingers know what to say, what to do. My body remembers what needs telling, even when my mind forgets. Let my fingers glide, they think on their own, remembering what the writing wants, while I try to hide inside. Looking back to my years in the South, I had healed enough from my breakdown to live as a normal girl most of the time. But there were still periods when I became the watcher and the watched. Sometimes it felt like the safest place to be. Years later, when my counselor told me there was no normal, that normal was whatever normal meant for you, I thought, I sure wish I'd known that growing up. I felt sorry for the kids who got picked on, so I defended them, tried to make them feel better. But I also needed acceptance, and you didn't get accepted by befriending the underdogs. Caught between worlds, I was an underdog, but others had it worse. So I felt their pain while trying to gain acceptance myself. My solution? Stay a little apart. It was safer. At 12, I started dating. After long days in the tobacco fields, feet aching like pins were stuck in them, legs hurting so bad I'd cry at night, my sisters and I would clean up, paint our faces, and walk down the dirt road to the corner store. We'd sit on the bench waiting for the boys to drive by. Soldiers from Fort Bragg. Even at 12, I never dated anyone younger than 19. One night on that park bench, my twin sister, a friend, and I decided to reinvent ourselves. Let's pick new names, my sister said, her voice bright with the possibility. So we did. I chose Jean, kept it ever since. With family, I remained Earlene, but to everyone else, I was Jean. Maybe we were trying to become someone else, the kind of people who didn't work tobacco, who didn't feel dirty and invisible, who mattered to someone beyond what they could provide, who were seen as people, not just hands in the field. At 12, I felt ancient, like I knew everything. I can't remember ever feeling young. Time would prove me incredibly wrong, but no one could have told me that then. Not that anyone tried. Mama was so tired after working all day and worrying all night that she let us be. Too busy trying to feed us to track what we were doing. She made no rules. So I made my own. I set curfews, played gatekeeper for my sister and friend. This old soul lived inside my young body, convinced she knew the right way, compelled to share that wisdom with sisters. The men I dated taught me lessons I wasn't ready for. One pinched me behind the knees when I disobeyed. Thank God for my brother-in-law who made him disappear. Another tattooed my name on his arm, then cut himself with a razor when I tried to break up. Then came the married man who took me to his house, raped me in his marital bed. Fear kept me going out with him. It always ended the same way, usually in his back seat. Eventually, he vanished from my life. Killed in Vietnam, I heard later. I never told anybody what he had done, but I felt nothing but relief when I learned he'd died. At 14, I met Mike. He seemed normal, kind, with parents, a real family. He didn't force himself on me or hurt me. After my experiences, he felt like salvation. His family lived in Washington State, and when he described them, they sounded like everything I'd ever dreamed of. My world was spinning out of control. I kept putting myself in situations I couldn't handle. Desperate for love, but terrified I was becoming what others called me. When Mike asked me to marry him after a month of dating, I said yes. Did I know what I was doing? Of course not, but something inside knew I needed escape, though I wouldn't let myself think about it consciously. I thought I knew everything. After all, I was 14, had been dating for 2 years, making my own rules, staying alive. God must have been watching over us because we easily could have met worse fates. Sometimes I stayed with my brother and his wife, helping with their kids while they worked. He beat her. They fought, screamed, beat each other. I'd grab the children, one in my arms, one by the hand, and take them to the front yard far enough that they couldn't hear the violence. So when I married, I thought I'd seen everything, heard everything. How arrogant I was to think life had no more lessons for me. But it's one thing to witness someone else's hell. It's another one to live it yourself. I'd simply traded one hell for another. Mike was a heavy drinker. I realized later he'd been drunk most of our courtship. With no experience with alcohol, and since he mostly drank beer, I had no clue he was an alcoholic. It would be years before I even knew the term, understood the havoc of living with addiction. The cycle began. Drunk Mike was mean and nasty. Sober Mike was always sorry. 18 years of this pattern. His abuse was usually verbal, but there were physical moments, punching, holes in our bed, throwing things, knocking over our Christmas tree. The year I was pregnant with my first daughter at 16, he literally tore our house apart. Nothing survived that night, not furniture, not peace, not my illusions. He hit me a few times, but I told him, "Hit me again, and I'll wait until you're asleep and kill you with a butcher knife." He must have believed me. While he killed me with words, he rarely tried to hit me again. Everything was my fault, he said. I was a whore, a slut. If I loved him enough, he wouldn't drink. If I gave him more sex, cooked breakfast more, made his lunch, became a better wife, then he wouldn't say cruel things, wouldn't drink, wouldn't destroy our home. He broke things, threw furniture, threatened me, and told me so often that his problems were my fault that I began believing him. Our social outings ended the same way, him drunk, saying cruel things while I laid my head back to hide my tears from others. The next day brought apologies and promises that lasted until the next time. 18 years, sometimes better, mostly worse. I could tell before he came home that tonight would be a drinking night. I'd see him drive through our small town and just know, tonight he'll be drunk. At his parents' house, he'd control himself until we reached our room. Then he'd rip off his shirt, buttons flying, and launch into his tirade about what a slut I was. My mother-in-law suggested I accept him, not argue. Try this, try that. Church ministers said, love when there is no love. Show respect when there is none. I tried everything. He still drank daily, still blamed me, and I remained that unloved little girl. The wonderful life I'd thought I was escaping to didn't exist, at least not here. I thought about giving up many times, but giving up meant dying to me. I never really considered leaving, not for years. We separated 2 or 3 times, but always reunited, probably because I didn't know how to be different. All my counseling said, love even when you don't feel it. I'd turned to church where I heard repeatedly that the man was the head of the household, deserving respect and love, whether he earned it or not. Many times I thought about dying, taking enough aspirin to end it. I didn't know other methods, and since I never followed through, I must not have wanted it badly enough. I'm a survivor, a fighter, not a quitter. I got that from Mama. She had to be to raise 9 kids alone. We endured like this for years. I had 4 daughters, took care of them, made a life for us. To me, he was like having another child, one constantly out of control. He worked and earned money, I raised the kids. I finished high school through a correspondence course. I had quit in the 9th grade to get married. Then I took seminary courses, joined the PTA, doing everything to create a normal family. I tried venturing into the world, getting jobs, going to school, but each attempt threatened Mike, and when he felt threatened, the drinking and verbal abuse intensified. Church and school involvement were acceptable. Anything else made me a whore in his eyes. Why would I want to be out there unless I was one? Something inside always knew that continuing to push for independence would end the marriage, but I'd been taught marriage was forever, so leaving didn't seem like an option. We played this game. I'd try to have a life he deemed unacceptable, he'd drink and rage, and I'd quit and go home. Then came the time when I was dying inside, smothering. I couldn't breathe. I broke into 1,000 jagged pieces. The crying wouldn't stop. No more, I said. You have to stop. He ripped the phone from the wall, grabbed a shotgun, threatened me with it, then turned it on himself. I took the girls and fled to his brother's house. The next morning, he checked himself into treatment. They wanted to see me, but I was terrified. I was certain everything was my fault. His drinking, rage, abuse. If I'd loved him more, given him more sex, cooked breakfast, made lunch, been a better wife, then he'd be perfect. I always tried moving us away from his friends because they made him drink, never him. Most of all, I knew that if he stopped drinking, he'd be perfect and we'd be perfect together. I had no choice but to go to the treatment center. Terrified, expecting them to confirm how awful I was, how much I damaged him, but they didn't. They showed me a little girl hiding behind a door so she wouldn't hear her parents fighting. I started crying and I couldn't stop for 2 days. I was that little girl, always hiding, always afraid. Mike stayed a month in counseling while I saw my own counselor. He got out, but nothing changed. He'd quit drinking, not because of how much he'd hurt me or the kids, not because I couldn't stand it anymore. They convinced him he'd die if he didn't stop. All those years of my pain hadn't mattered. It was about him, always about him. I thought things would improve, that I could live without fear, maybe take classes at community college. I signed up for pet psychology. It felt wonderful learning about something besides my pain. I thought he was well, that I was well, that I could stop being his mother. He couldn't handle it. Unknown to me, he'd met another woman at the treatment center, a mother willing to play the role I no longer wanted. He left me. We had cows and horses and 4 daughters, and he left. He took all the money, sold the hay for our animals, and vanished. After 18 years, after everything I'd endured, he left me. My stomach felt ripped out, like part of me had been cut away, leaving a gaping hole inside. Then came shame. Shame that I'd stayed. Shame that he left me, rather than me finding the courage to leave him. Shame, pain, anger so hot it was a flame threatening to consume everyone in its path. Then the fear took hold. How would I care for my daughters and myself? Pay bills, buy food. 18 years later, I'd be poor again, a nobody with nothing, on welfare with 4 daughters to support. I'd run to the other end of the United States to escape being poor and invisible, and here I was again. The fear of being exactly where I started, like mother, like daughter, alone with children, and no way to survive. Who is in the mirror poem? I look in the mirror. Who stares back at me? Is that me, Mama, or you? Staring back, mocking me. I'm so frightened, afraid to see. Who's looking back at me? Pain lashes so deep it crushes me. Crushes, cuts, smothers me. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. The pressure holds me down, keeps me down, so far down I may never surface again. Mama, I'm a little girl again, feeling pain, loss, fear, shame. I am a nobody again. I found a wonderful counselor, a godly, educated man who saw me weekly for a year. Determined never to end up with another alcoholic, I worked hard at growing up, becoming whole. I'd married so young, I didn't know how to be complete. The counselor gave me his time because I couldn't afford to pay him. He helped me become whole, and I slowly began building a life for my girls and myself. I'll be eternally grateful to this man who took time to guide me through this phase. I think I paid him a mere $5 per visit. Can you imagine? Thank you, wherever you are, and thank you, God, for sending him. After those initial months of feeling ripped apart, suddenly there was such intense freedom I felt like a bird released from a cage. I could fly, soar to unknown heights with no one to stop me. It was one of the most exhilarating times of my life. My freedom poem. I was free to run and roam, young, alive, filled with hope to survive. I danced, I laughed, love, pride. I could soar to the sky, all powerful, be anything I wanted to be. I celebrated, prayed, hurt, cried, but I was free. The smothering lifted, the crushing gone. I am alive, I am alive. I played, had fun, learned what it meant to be single again. I vowed never to be poor again, never to be unable to take care of myself. So I accelerated my life. 18 years was a long time to make up. At a Parents Without Partners dance, a man told me, if you want to earn a man's salary, compete in a man's world. If you want to earn a woman's salary, compete in a woman's world. I decided I wanted to compete in a man's world. Writing this, I realized it's the first time I thought about where my heart was in my career drive. I'd told my counselor I wanted to be a psychologist, but when this man spoke about money and taking care of myself and my kids, I listened. Hard to say if that was a mistake. It doesn't matter now because that's what I did. I studied and passed tests for my production and inventory management certificate, then pursued a bachelor's in business administration. Working full-time, raising 4 girls, and attending school full-time. After all, I had to hurry and make up those 18 years. I found a non-traditional program where I could take bachelor-level classes while completing lower division requirements through distance learning, starting with 12 credit hours, needing 90 at lower division and 90 at bachelor's level. I worked on both simultaneously, usually 4 nights a week or 2 nights plus all weekend. In 2 years, I had my bachelor's. Sometimes driving home, I was so exhausted I didn't even know where I was. But I was determined never to depend on anyone again. I moved up in management, assuming happiness would follow. Not satisfied with the bachelor's, I completed my master's in business administration in the next 2 years. Obviously, my children suffered with me gone so much, but even in the suffering, they were happier and better off than when I was married to their father. While I'm proud of my accomplishments, I wish they hadn't come at my daughter's expense or been driven by fear. Later, after Cliff, my now husband, came into our lives, my daughters experienced what a real father could be. They went from a dad who only spoke to them when he wanted help and otherwise ignored them, to a man who talked to them and listened. He took them to the zoo, carried my youngest on his shoulders, showed them patience and kindness. He didn't demand they help with farm work they were far too young to do. For the first time, they had a male figure who saw them as children to be cherished, not workers to be used. I met Cliff at my first full-time job after my divorce. I was feeling free and happy and ready to get going on some path that would help me support myself and my kids. I made $14.97 a month and I was quite proud. It was far from enough to support us, but that didn't stop me from being excited and proud. Mike paid $100 per month per child, so I got $400 a month and no alimony. I hadn't had any idea what I was doing with the divorce, so we were left with far too little to live on, as I would find out the hard way. I laugh now at how naive I was, but never having earned money for any length of time, I was proud that I could get a job and earn my own money. On the job, I worked hard and tried to learn everything I could. I found I liked working and getting to know people at work, including Cliff. Quiet and kind, he listened as I rambled about life. We'd spend time after work standing in the parking lot talking. We became friends first. He was the first person I thought of when something new happened, always ready to laugh with me or offer advice. After months of friendship, we began dating. One day we drove to Cannon Beach. After walking barefoot in the warm sand, I struggled to put my shoes back on. Sand stuck all over the bottoms of my feet. Cliff had me sit on the bench, then knelt and gently brushed the sand from my feet before putting my shoes on for me. It was the most loving thing anyone had ever done for me. In that moment, I understood what tenderness looked like. Not grand gestures or passionate declarations, but this, someone caring for me without expecting anything in return, seeing my small struggle and simply helping me. After years of being told I was worthless, here was a man treating me like I mattered, like I deserved gentle care. With Mike, I'd felt like I had another child to take care of, one constantly out of control, demanding attention and creating chaos. With Cliff, I had an adult I could talk with about all things in life, real conversations about ideas, dreams, problems, solutions. He didn't need me to manage his emotions or clean up his messes. He was a partner, not another burden. We'd date for years before our relationship deepened. I had barriers up, determined never to let anyone hurt me again. While I quickly grew to love him, I didn't want to surrender my newfound freedom or self. It took me a long time to realize that true love means wanting the best for the other person, not being so insecure you don't want your partner to grow or experience life fully. After many years, I finally understood two halves don't make a whole in a relationship, but two wholes make something truly beautiful.